This is our ongoing meditation session. Be comfortable yourself and relax your body. Once we get connected with the other network, we're ready to start the session for today. Okay, so dear Dhamma practitioners, be comfortable yourself and relax your body and keep your back straight, neck head straight in one line and your right palm on your left. So gently close your eyes and bring your attention to this bell sound, and while you're focusing to the sound, mentally relax your body, relax your mind and relax your breathing with your thoughts. So do nothing extra. Just follow the sound, please. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Exalted One, the fully enlightened One. So, dear Dhamma practitioners, before we start our practice session, as usual, we will take few minutes to be very clear regarding the practice we do here, because when you become very clear with the whatever you do, what will happen, the effort, the energy you can put and get the best out of your practice. When you don't know what you, that the very meaning, or when you don't know how to do things and why you do things, by the time you give up. So that's why when it comes to meditation, it is very important every day you expand your understanding regarding the subject you practice. So for that, you have to bring the different views, and you have to open the different windows to get into the deeper meditation. That doesn't mean you change the technique. You keep the same technique, but you have to bring different explanations and different ideas and different way of understanding and different connotations or the interpretations regarding the same subject. So in that way, you can understand little by little, and you can go deeper into with your own practice. So as example, when it comes to meditation, we mainly practice tranquility meditation and vipassana meditation. So start to look into that and see what are the sutras that Buddha mentioned about the tranquility meditation and the vipassana meditation. Because there are many other sutras. As general knowledge, you can learn that things, but when it comes to meditation, and even when you read about articles, there are many other meditation techniques, but be more focused regarding what you practice. So that way, the time you spend and at the same time, the clarity you build up going to become more and more that resonate with you. So otherwise, what will happen? Otherwise, you keep jumping and going here and there and changing and dropping things on the way. So you are wasting your time and you are wasting your energy. And then maybe by the time you're going to end up with nothing. So you no need to go in that way. So that's why personally in my life, I used to practice many other things. But by the time I understood that there are many other things which we don't know, there are many other meditation techniques, maybe bring different kind of result. But when it comes to the depth of this all the wisdom, the tranquility meditation and vipassana meditation is the highest. And out of the tranquility meditation, the breathing meditation is one of the major important meditation technique. And each and everyone can practice that. There are many other techniques, many other the meditation techniques can easily practice by somebody else. And then when it comes to the vipassana, if you deeply understand the very behavior and the very nature of the vipassana meditation, then you are capable to not even bound to any kind of tranquility meditation technique, because by the time the vipassana meditation or the vipassana understanding will give the ability, listen this very carefully and try to understand, it will give the ability not to clinging to even your own meditation practice. Because when it comes to the Buddha's teaching or the meditation, you have to liberate, your mind need to liberate from its own practice. You have to release. You have to be free from your own practice. So when it comes to that level, there is no technique, there is no path, there is no method. But from the beginning, we can't. Without having a journey, without practicing ourselves, without having kind of like some experience to certain level, just from the beginning, we can't say there is no journey. There is no path. There is no way to practice. There is no self to practice. So that's why from the beginning you have to develop the tranquility state, and then from there, once you transform and develop the vipassana meditation, then by the time you are capable to understand and recognize what is this selflessness or the impermanent. So when it comes to our human history, and generations to generations, people used to transform physically and materially to different levels. So we are the very brand new version of our human existence. So when it comes to that, and the people have discussions, and people always think, oh, we are the best. And sometimes there are scientists talk about this psychological and physical development even. Our body and our mind also completely different than our ancestors. But when it comes to the Dhamma, and when it comes to the mechanism of the human life, if you look very carefully, there is nothing different in our body and in our mind, in our brain, or in our organs, than kind of like 1,000 years backward and human being to today. There is nothing, no any difference. We didn't get any new organs, or even we didn't the change the place wherever the heart, where there were the lungs, or the mechanism of the eye, or kind of like that. It's a very simple example. And sometimes some people say we came from the monkeys. We don't know about that. It's just a kind of like, it's just the idea. But when it comes to the very behavior of the human nature, when it comes to the Dharma, what you need to understand, and why we have to practice this, and why we have to practice these teachings 2,600 years ago in the Buddha taught, and how is it relevant today? Is it work for today? Or are you a very new person? Or you are a kind of like a very brand new person to this world? Is there any Dharma that you need specially, separately for you? What's the point that you following the spiritual leaders that whoever used to be in the world 1,000 years ago? So if you look very carefully and go in a little bit deeper and say, what is this? When it comes to this human life, remember, there's nothing changed in this human world. Then what is change? Why we say that more than any other time, we are the advanced version and we are more capable than any other here, our ancestors, with our brain, with our mind, with our body. So when we look very carefully, the very behavior of the world, very behavior and the very existence of the nature, when it comes to 1,000 years backward, what happens? They had the same brain, they had the same body, they had the same fingers, same kind of fingers, 10 fingers. And we didn't get any new, or we lose any. So we have the 10. The same like the mechanism of the eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, the same. The way I experience and the way you experience, and after 1,000 years, or after eons by eons, whoever human beings come to this world, they also going to experience the same way with their own eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind. So when it comes to that, that's why the 5 aggregates, the very nature, the very behavior of the 5 aggregates going to be the same. All the Buddhas come to this world and talk about the same thing. It's not going to be different. The same Dharma. So then you have to understand, and why then we say the world is so different. This is the difference. In the ancient time, the people didn't have that much material things around them. And because of that, what happens? Their lifestyle or their interference with the world was very limited. What happened today? Today we have so much material things around us. And then we are so busy with that interference. So our ancestors didn't have that much mental capacity or the energy or the space or the needs to interfere with a lot of outside things. And because of that, what happened, their behavior used to be different than us. But today, when it comes to our life, we have so much material things. At one time, we are so capable to access to a lot of things. So in the ancient time, maybe they didn't receive a letter, or they didn't receive a phone call, or they didn't have the the TV. So because of that, they had the ability to observe the nature. But what happened today? We have the cell phone. At the same time, you watching you have the iPad or the computer in front of you. Maybe at the same time there is a TV, or maybe then the radio. So this everything around you, and then while you watching TV, maybe somebody called you, and then the same mind. But what happens? It start to interfere with a lot of outside things. So the same brain, there is any new cell happen in our brain or in our body than our ancestors, the same thing. But what happened? We are so interfere with the outside world. So because of that, what happening? That interference bring the busyness to us. And because of that, deeper, that the thought patterns become more fast. As a result of that, what happens? We lose the awareness. So in the ancient time, we used to have the awareness. Our ancestors had the more awareness because they had less material things around them. That whenever we come to their life, they had the ability to see it and focus to that and interfere with it mindfully. But what happened today? We have so many things. We are so busy. And because of that, our awareness cannot be in the same place or with the same thing. So sometimes people think it is a power of mind. But it is not the power of mind. We have to understand that, because that is the very nature of the mind. So whatever around us, it always go and get connected with that. And the mind not happen separately, and the world not happen separately. The mind and the world, the environment and the mind, this both interconnected. So wherever you are, so what happened, whatever you experience going to be the same. So then you have to be very careful. When it comes to our human life, it is not the very purpose of this human life is not just interfering with this environment, and more deeply connected to the awareness, bring the ultimate satisfaction to you. Because if you don't have the awareness, it doesn't matter how many material things around you, you may not going to understand anything. So then how you can get connected to that awareness and still live with this very busy material world? Because we can't escape from the world. We have to accept the world as it is. But at the same time, we can't just hold it to the world, because this human life going to become very limited in this world. And then by the time, once you going to die. So before you die, rather than go with the world, how you can get the best out of this human life. So that is our purpose. That is what we need to look. It is not about go with the world or the escape from the world using this all, because this is what our time, this is what we have. So then out of this, how then we can get the best? And if you can get the best, you're going to be the same like during the Buddha's time, that whoever enlightened masters or that whoever followers, because during their time, it doesn't matter, they had the less material, or they had more time, or they had the Buddha present with them, and they got the best out of. No. Somehow, they into their life and they found the best. So you have the same opportunity. You also, if you are capable to get the best, you're going to be the same like the Buddha's time. So then, after thousand years, if anybody attain to enlightenment or get the best out of this, and then you're going to be the same like them. So then Dharma is a kind of like not related to that time. So the truth is not connected to kind of like the time. It is not responsible to the time, but always you have to remember your physical, this material world, that our positions, our dreams, our goals, desires, this all related to the time. When the time changes, that all going to change. So then it is very important for yourself to look, rather than go with that all, by the time how you can get the best and become the same like the Buddha's time, or maybe to the future, whoever find this path. So for that, how we can connect it to that. So when it comes to the Buddha's teaching, there's one of the major important teachings regarding the attachment. So it doesn't matter what you have or not. Maybe when we have the desire to hold it to things, that desire will start to build up the connections. So there are two different words we use: detachment and non-attachment. So here we have to understand, rather than non-attachment, because non-attachment, so that in that way, there is somebody exists without attachment. But rather than non-attachment, getting to detachment is more deeply related to the wisdom. So how you can get into this detachment, renunciation? Because everywhere people like to have this detachment. Everybody appreciate that. But still, we keep clinging to things again and again and again. So the very reason we don't have the mindfulness. Because when you become mindful, as a result of that, what happens? This detachment happens. So non-attachment is always with the idea or the self-centered mind, always go with the point of view. But the detachment always happens as a result of moment of existence. So that is what you have to gain. So when it comes to that, there are four kinds of ways that this detachment should happen. One is sensual pleasures. So when you practice mindfulness, what happens? You get out of this grasping, holding, from these sensual pleasures. That is the power of the mindfulness. So that's why that you have to keep practice this, because we have a lot of material things around us, and more than any other time, in any other time, these human beings interfere with a lot of things at one time. And another way we call it kind of like to appreciate it, validate it, we call it kind of like a multitasking. But when it comes to mindfulness, there's no such a thing called multitasking, because the mind takes only one thing at one time. It can't take two things. With your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, consciousness, with your perception, what you perceive, it can take only one thing at one time. So then, if you become mindful regarding one thing, there is no way that you can think about another thing. So then the mindfulness itself brings the detachment. Then there is nothing to forget. There is nothing to let go. There is nothing to not to attach, because the mindfulness itself means detachment. So then the very first one, the grasping nature, holding nature, it's with the sensual pleasures, like, dislike, and the regarding the material things, and the whatever in day-to-day activities that we go with, and with all the ideas that we hold from the world, the life should be like this. And people always like to have a good life, and everybody look for that in the world. And because of that, what happened with our eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, we always categorize, we always develop the resistance, and we always keep running towards something. So what happens when you become mindful, you start to get out of that. So other one is the detachment should happen from the views. So it's kind of like intellectual ideas. We are so craving more than any other things for new ideas, new things, and new knowledge. And from childhood, we learn to gain new things, new things, new things. But when it comes to the wisdom path, you don't go for new things, you go for profitable things. Go for new things and go for profitable things, two different ways. So getting to profitable things, you have to have some kind of wisdom. But to get a new thing, you don't need that. Anything you can get. You can listen to anything. You go to YouTube, you can watch anything. You can listen to anybody. And it's going to become, of course, it's going to become new thing for you. And in the future, there are many people will come and start to talk about many things. And then if you are there, then you will say, oh, this is a brand new thing. Maybe you like for that, because you have a cravingness to the new things. But when you become mindful, what happens? You detach from that. You develop a wisdom inside you without any preconditioned mind. You start to recognize that whatever that the ideas or the knowledge or the thoughts around us, is it profitable for you or not? See that sensual, one should detach from detach from the sensual pleasures. It brings the clarity to your mind. Another thing is one should detach from the ideas. It brings the clarity to your mind. And the third one is kind of like the detach from rituals. Because when it comes to the world, even that most of time people that divide others, oh, we do this and other people don't do that. And even sometimes when it comes to the world, good or bad, or the right or wrong, why people look like that way, because, oh, I do this, you don't do that. And sometimes if you don't have that deeper understanding, your own mental practice, sometimes your own meditation, your own rituals, your own precepts, sometimes can divide the society, and it can bring a hard time to you. As example, you practice meditation and you think, oh, practicing meditation is good. If somebody else don't practice meditation, you think that person as a bad person, as a wrong person. So that come out of you grasping and holding to your own rituals. And maybe you pray early in the morning, and sometimes there is a person, he doesn't pray. So then you think, oh, he's not a good person. No, that it's nothing to do with that. You go more deeper and understand the intention related to the greed, hatred, and the delusion. Then, as you know, some terrorists, so they are so ritual, they practice rituals, they pray many times per day, but that doesn't mean they do it for the good. No, they do it with the greed or the hatred or the delusion. So that's why just doing something, or maybe you think, oh, he's do this or she do that, because of that she's good or bad. No, you can't come to that. You're in the very first level, you have to release you from that. And that detachment bring a kind of like a sharp and clear understanding for yourself to look at the world. And that is where you can go beyond the surface level and see our actions related to greed, hatred, or the delusion. Oh, is it profitable or unprofitable? It's mostly covered by the rituals. And people so attached to the rituals, and it is very attractive. No, there are a lot of people from the human history to today, people so attracted to rituals. So then when it comes to deeper, your own liberation, you have to be liberated from your own rituals, because otherwise you can become a prisoner to yourself. Every day, maybe you pray early in the morning, or maybe you practice meditation, maybe you practice your sitting. Maybe one day you can't, if you can't do it, it is start to bother you. Oh, I didn't do it. Then you think it is bad. And maybe then they disturb your mind, and out of that disturb, you lose your awareness. And you lose your awareness and you make a mistake. Then maybe while you cooking, maybe you cut your finger, and then you think, oh, today I didn't practice meditation, I didn't pray, because of that, it's bad, I cut my finger. No, because you lose the awareness in that very moment. Otherwise, because you have done something there, it's not going to come behind you the same way, unchangeable way, and catch you here. No, it's a cause and effect. That's what you have to understand. So once you recognize that, so whatever the mistake or the good things happen anywhere, you're not going to count on that in this very moment. Why? Because this is a very brand new moment. You have to be here right now, right here. So in that way, you detach from your past. So that is one thing, and the detach from the rituals. And the fourth one is detach from the self. Self-centered mind. I am. This is my soul. Unchangeable, unbreakable, invisible, something, this concrete, permanent consciousness exists inside this. And that is what brings this whole experience. There's nothing kind of like that. So how you can know that? You can know it. It is, you don't need to follow someone and believe it because of that. You know that. How you can know there is no one inside you? Look at your own past. Look at your body. And you know how it changed. 10 years, 20 years backward. Don't bring any other kind of like a, dogmas to you. Just be very organic, simple person and look yourself from 10 years to today. How change your body. And how you lose your balance. How you lose your strength. How you lose your abilities. Physically. You know that. And maybe from -2, you grow it to higher, or from higher, you decline it. Incline or decline, somehow it changed. As example, as a child, it's so weak, but when you become young, that weakness becomes stronger. If you used to be young 10 years back, now you're getting old, so it declined. So somehow it changed. And understand that. And then after that, how about your own thoughts? What happened? So whatever the thoughts, every day it's changed. And then going to deeper consciousness, or whatever you believe, or whatever you hold it. And that also change. And then our feelings, just go into that, what you used to feel, what you used to appreciate as your feelings 10 years back, today, maybe it giving you a hard time, or you get disturbed out of that. See that how that all change. If that all change, is there anything that you can find yourself exist unchangeable? It's just only the idea. But as you know, end of the days, the ideas doesn't give any value to your life. It's because it's just the idea. But when it becomes so strong, your ideas has an ability to appear as a reality. That is what we experience as self. So that's why the mindfulness bring the ability for yourself to get out of that appearance of reality, appearance of your imagination, break down and give connection to what is exactly the happening and what is exactly the true reality happening right now, right here. So once you experience that, it becomes a irreversible wisdom for yourself. And that wisdom fulfill your journey. And that is the highest. And once you have the highest, this lower level of all other needs going to disappear. So once it disappears like that, there is nothing that you have to practice, or you have to resist, or you have to work for that. So that is where you liberate from your own life. You liberate from your own things, that what you keep doing. And once you liberate from that, there's no way you're going to come back. Why? Because there's nothing to do. You already experienced that. And once you have that wisdom, before you end this life, you will experience what is the meaning of this human life, and what the Buddha taught, and what is the meaning of this wisdom, and what is the meaning of liberation, and how it look like. So with that, let's get into practice a little bit now. So your right palm on your left hand, neck get straight in one line, and be comfortable with your posture. So bring your attention to your body and scan head to toes yourself and say Suvapatveva. Oh, may I be well and happy 3 times. Take a moment and think. We gathered here in this moment to practice this ancient meditation technique. All the Buddhas, all the enlightened masters followed this path and achieved wisdom. So we also gathered here to accumulate that knowledge. In this moment with this sitting, may my body become more comfortable, may my breath be more smooth, may no difficulties come to me, may all the success come to me. Also think for a moment, this is the last moment we're spending in this very lifetime, and detach your mind from all your past memories and as well as any kind of future thoughts. Just try to remain in the present moment, observing the sensation of your inhalations and exhalations. So in the beginning, deeply and gently, breathe in, breathe out 3 times and find the sensation, please. And allow your inhalations, exhalations happen itself. When it happens through the sensation, recognize it. Don't follow your imagination. Don't interfere with any ideas or thoughts. Just allow it to happen itself. Do nothing extra. Bring attention to your body, please. Observe your posture. We cultivate loving kindness and compassion in our heart and radiate it as a light through entire your compound, village, city, state, country, world, around this universe. Also, as far as you can, through galaxies, other planets, stars. Reminding yourself like this. With clear intention, mentally repeat after me. May all living beings in this universe be well and happy. May everyone be happy and safe. And may their hearts be filled with joy. May all living beings live in security and in peace. Beings who are frail or strong, tall or short, big or small, visible or not visible, near or far away, already born or yet to be born. May all of them dwell in perfect tranquility. Let no one do harm to anyone. Let no one put the life of anyone in danger. Let no one out of anger or ill will wish anyone any harm. Expand the loving kindness and compassion beginning from your heart. Forward. Visualize yourself and send it as a light. To your backside. To your left side. And to your right side. Downward. And upward. To all 6 directions at once. Like the moon, the sun, spread the light, spread the energy, without any condition, without any limitation, without any resistance or without any judgment. Let your heart to shine with the loving kindness and compassion from the bottom of it, with the maximum effort to the highest. Wishing yourself, may all living beings in this universe be well and happy. Say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So first of all, we offer this practice to the great qualities of the Buddha, Dhamma and the Sangha. And also by the power of this meritorious deed, May all of us attain to the supreme bliss of Nibbana. May all your guardian angels and deities will receive these merits and increase their longevity and protect all of you from any kind of planetary influences or any ill effects. Ettavata chammi sambadam punya sambadam sabbe deva numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe bhuta numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe satta numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya imaya dhamma nu dhamma patipattiya buddham pujemi dhammam pujemi sangham pujemi Attaya imaya patipattiya jati jara vyadi maranam ha paribunjissami idamme punya kammang asavakkaya vahan hotu sabba dukkha pamuncatu. Bless you.